Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Since Pokemon's introduction back in 1996 with Generation 1, there's always been legendaries to catch, although back then they were mostly mystical strong one-time Pokemon that only could be found in specific areas. However, that changed ever since Generation 2 arrived. Now, legendaries are poster boys for new entries of the series, with almost every new game sporting at least 2 legendaries for each entry, and sometimes 3. And with a new legendary for each generation, there is bound to also exist pseudo legendaries. It is a law at this point. Now, if you don't know what a pseudo legendary is, then let me briefly explain it to you. And so, since every generation basically has had at least one, I thought it could be fun to talk about what type I want the new pseudo legendary to have for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And also, I do not talk about much about stats and any other technical stuff, only the typing itself. This is going to be a fun video, so I hope you enjoy it. The new region in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is clearly based on Spain, and since Spain is most notably known for their hot weather and beaches, and with beaches includes water, so for my first hope for a pseudo legendary for it to be a dragon water type. I know we have a water dragon type already, but since it's not classified as a pseudo legendary, I can still put the typing on my list. Anyway, a water dragon type in of itself is a very strong typing. In fact, some might even suggest that it is the best type combination for a pseudo legendary out there, with only 2 weaknesses and water's many great special and physical moves such as Surf, Wave Crash and Hydro Pump, combined with the raw power of dragon types, makes this type combination a true threat if turned into a pseudo legendary. Heck, the type itself is even a threat even without it being a legendary. Either way, if the pseudo legendary ends up being this type combination, then I do hope a great design follows with it. Anything is better than a seahorse and a strong derp fossil. No offense to the fans of these Pokemon, it is after all just my opinion. The next type combination I want to see as a pseudo legendary for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is a Dragon Ice type. Now I understand that people might think that this is a bit of a weird choice, since the last entry Dragon Water was far superior than this type combination, and you would be completely right. But this is not a list of the strongest type combination for a pseudo legendary. No, this is my personal list of what kind of type combination I want as a pseudo legendary, not a combination of what could be the best or the strongest pseudo legendary ever created. Anyway, enough of that. A Dragon Ice type is something I have been wanting for a very long time now, ever since Kyurem's introduction. I've always wanted a real line of a pseudo legend that is the use of the ice typing. Don't misunderstand me, I love Kyurem's design, but you could do more with the Dragon Ice type, then make it into a half and half fusion between the main legendaries of Generation 5. And before you say anything, then yes, I do understand that the typing in of itself isn't very good, with up to 5 weaknesses and somewhat good resistances. But let's remember, Dragapult and Dragonite also have 4 to 5 weaknesses, and for what I can understand, these are considered good pseudo legendaries. So yes, I really want a Dragon Ice type that isn't a legendary. I just think there's so much more potential about this typing, but I think you understand where I'm coming from. So I've rambled long enough, let's get to the next entry. If it wasn't clear at this point, then let me remind you all that I really love dragons, especially the fire-breathing European ones. Now funny enough, of all the dragon types that we have in Pokemon, only one dragon type scores the dragon fire typing, being Turtonator for Generation 7. Now I do like Turtonator's design and concept, but when it comes to fire-breathing dragons, Turtonator doesn't really have that dragon design going for it. I mean, what do you think about when you hear fire dragon? Exactly, not this. So for the potential next pseudo legendary of Generation 9, I want a realized fire breathing dragon. also known as a Dragon Fire typing. For a typing that is weak to 3 types, Ground, Rock and Dragon, you could give it the ability Levitate to remove the ground weakness, and suddenly we have a strong fire-breathing dragon Pokemon with only 2 weaknesses. Man, I actually really want to see this for real now. Ever since Generation 4 made the trend of every generation moving forward having a dragon type being a pseudo legendary, there's always been 2 types people wanted to see as pseudo legendaries. One of them is the dragon bug type combination. Now that Game Freak has missed the opportunity with both Flygon and Yamega, I believe it's time to introduce the typing properly, and one way to do that is to make the typing a pseudo legendary of the new region in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This will finally give the respect that the dragon bug type certainly deserved, since it has been ignored all this time. Now there are tons of ways you can make a strong dragon bug type, and I'm sure that Game Freak can make it good in some way or another. This type has tons of potential, and I truly hope that one day we will see this typing in particular in a pseudo legendary. Since the universe creation, there's always existed opposites, good and bad, life and death, sun and moon, and that is right, my biggest hope for the next type of pseudo legendary in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is a Dragon Fairy type. Dragons has always been one of my favorite types in Pokemon, and fairies has for the most part not really impressed me design wise. They have always been a bit too cute for my liking. That changed in Generation 8 with Grimmsnarl's introduction, and suddenly I realized how overpowered fairies actually work. There is a reason why dragon types fear them, and their design could have endless potential. I mean, take a look at Grimmsnarl and look at the other fairy types. Yeah, a big difference. Okay, maybe it has something to do with the dark type influence, but my point is that Grimmsnarl looks a lot different than all the other fairy types. So imagine combining the 2 most powerful typings into one strong Pokemon. The result will be hopefully the next pseudo legendary for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that you took the time out of your day to watch my video. It means a lot to me and I'm forever thankful. Until next time, see ya.